Hello guys, it is Modest Major here, bringing you a commentary over some 25 and 5 free-for-all. The score in the background isn't the best one I've ever gotten by any stretch of the imagination. I was actually considering not uploading it. It's definitely not my kind of score. I try to go for better, especially in free-for-all. But I suppose it was a comeback. It had a nice triple kill in it. It had a frenzy in it, and when I was watching, I think it was fairly entertaining to watch despite the deaths. I don't like seeing myself die that many times in the gameplay, though. It just depresses me a little bit, but I'll keep it in anyway. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about today were about the concepts of objectivity and subjectivity. Now, you may have heard these words before, but I'll give you a quick little definition just before I go into discussing them in terms of the Halo franchise. But objectivity basically means trying to keep a fair and open mind, honest, rational thinking decisions, basing your decisions about whether you like or dislike a game on logic, not on whether you like or dislike, but whether the game is good or not, on logic. It's trying not to come to any rash decisions, any quick-fire decisions that aren't based upon, actual facts and logic, and just making a quick-fire decision. This game sucks, this game rocks, this game's the best game ever. It's trying to keep away from them and actually base all your decisions upon things that are undeniable, indisputable. And I think this is something that has really affected the Halo 4 game, and in some respect Gears of War Judgment, but I'll talk more about Halo, obviously, because this is Halo gameplay. And what that basically means is, a lot of people are subjective, and subjective basically means, the opposite of objectivity. It is making quick-fire decisions. It's your mentality is aligned. You're already aligned to a certain opinion, and you're not going to change that opinion. And it's something that, for me, has been affecting the Halo community in a horrible, horrible way. And it's something you really see on the Halo Waypoint forums. You see that demonstrated in a huge, over-the-top manner, because everyone on that forum is extremely subjective. They are not trying to be open-minded about the game. They're not trying to rationally, break down the game into its flaws and its positives, at least for the most part. I mean, of course, there'll be good members of any community, but on the, at least the front pages, it's just a bunch of ex-Halo 3 fans hating on the game for, one specific reason, and then using that specific reason to say the whole game is terrible. For example, there'll be someone who says the BR is unbalanced with the DMR, thus the game is terrible. Or, rifle descoping is back, thus the game is terrible. CSR isn't as good as it could have been, thus the game is terrible. And instead of actually trying to, break down the games into its positives and negatives, they just focus on this one negative aspect and try and put down the entire game as a basis of it, instead of giving Halo 4 credit where it deserves to be credited. Because, for example, point 1, the engine is beautiful, it's magnificent, it's almost a masterpiece, I would say, in terms of what I was expecting before this Halo game. When I saw first gameplay and I saw first screenshots, I thought it looked good, but I didn't realise just how well it would play. I think if competitive settings and everything was tuned well enough to work on this game, then this game would play better than Halo 3. That's just my opinion. It's the settings that don't necessarily replicate Halo 3's epicness. But there is a lot about this game that works magnificently. The Forerunner weapons, they feel and aesthetically, and they pack a punch, and I think they were great additions to the game. The weapons in general have incredible sound design and incredible weapon aesthetics, and people just seem to throw away all those ideas and just call the game terrible because of the few facts they dislike. And the amount of people I've had join a party with me and just say, oh, this game blows. And I'm like, well, why does the game blow? Well, have you seen the battle rifle? Have you seen how terrible that is? They need to bring it back to Halo 3 settings. Or, have you seen the ranking system? I mean, how are we supposed to play? And it's like, yeah, those points are valid, and those points are valid in the negative column of the Halo game, if you were to put positives versus negatives. But to say the whole game sucks as a result of those points is just mindless. It's dumb. And it brings down whatever left of the positivity within the community. We don't want to hear that. We're trying to push the Halo game forward. We don't want to hear you nitpicking at these little things that annoy you to the max, but they don't necessarily annoy us. Because, to be quite frank, there are things that I love about this game, and there are things that the positive community love about this game. Anyway, I have been Modest Major, and let's try and be more positive and more objective. That was a terrible end to a commentary, but there you go. Peace.